Yesterday, me and one of my boys went to a hip hop event, and we kind of gotten talking about certain topics that I hold dear to my heart. And one thing I was thinking about, like we had a chat about, was black businesses, supporting black businesses, building them, understanding that a business cannot be built overnight, and understanding that if you build a business, it's not always that it's going to, make money like from the onset, because these days it seems like everybody has a business, especially, the entrepreneurs have made it easy for people to want to have a business because they think having a business will get them fast money, because obviously they corrupt, they're stealing money, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with that money. But that culture is now becoming a part of black culture, where people just want to have a tender, get some money, buy a nice car, go out, buy bottles of Hennessy, XO, and all of that stuff. So yeah, we were kind of like talking about that, but I was thinking more like black businesses. Do we support black businesses because they're black, or do we need some sort of quality? You look at Tsepo Jeans, which provides quality, Matosa, the high-end luxury, Galaxy Boy, those local brands that have come out as the cream of the crop that give you quality as well. But they're a little bit on the expensive side, because the material and all of that, I don't really understand that business, so I can't really say why they price what they price, and whether they're overheads and things like that. But in terms of black businesses, do we support them just for that? I think it's something to think about, and I think we need to be a little bit more conscious with what we do with our money. I mean, for example, how much money do black people have at this current point? If you were to look in South Africa, for example, we are the majority in this country. How much money leaves our hands? Well, you get a salary. Then that salary, how much of it are we spending on black businesses? Are we conscious of that? Do we think about it? I don't know. I don't think we think about it. I don't think about it because I can go and buy food wherever. Buy fruits and fridge, and I don't really think who owns this business. Where is this money going? Um, and if you look at cultures like Jewish people, are they conscious of that? Because all I've heard in terms of Jewish people is exactly that. They're conscious of where their money is going. They're deliberate in where they're taking their money. It must be a Jewish owned restaurant. It must be a Jewish owned car dealership. It must be a Jewish owned, etc., etc. Whether it's friends, whether it's people they don't know, they're quite deliberate with how they spend their money. I mean, can we be like that? Can we be more deliberate in how we spend our money? That's something to think about. I think we should be, because we need to build up the black businesses. And to build up the black businesses is not easy, because we're coming from, a point of disadvantage, because you're coming maybe from a rural area which doesn't have much development, and you're trying to do something, maybe sell shirts, sell fruits and veg, sell things like that. How do you scale a business? How do you ensure that you have a loyal clientele base before you scale a business? Do you just scale? Do you have a business, then you scale it? uh, it's like a lot of things that are going through my mind, but I think the point of this video for me is, let's be more conscious of how we spend our money. If we want black businesses in particular to succeed, can we be more conscious of where we spend it? Where we eat, where we buy a fruit of veg? Do you buy them at the lady, at the street that's supporting their kid going to school? Or are you buying them at, your fruit and veg, big stores, that have a lot of clientele? Who are you buying it from? Is it good quality? Because also I can't be like support black businesses, but then you're buying rotten tomatoes on the side of the road just for the sake of, supporting black businesses. How do we get the black businesses, to move up a level? I don't know if the government can help in terms of that, because there's funding programs and things like that the governments have, but it's not really available like that to people. But man, I think it's something to think about. How do we start? How do we spark this, generation of black businesses that provide good quality, that are able to scale as well?